Littlefinger seems like he has everything under his control. He's the Lord of Harrenhal, he's the Lord Protector of the Eyrie, and he has control over the Lord of the Vale, Sweet Robin. On top of this, the Littlefinger debt scheme seems to be working. He has countless lords indebted to him, and every day more and more lords of the Vale fall in line. He also has Sansa in his possession and under his control. She even thinks he's an okay guy. And Sansa is betrothed to the heir to the Vale, Harry Harding. What could possibly go wrong? Well, Littlefinger did miss something. Something big. And because of this slip-up, House Royce is now an enormous threat. Oh, not the senior branch of House Royce with Bronzeon Royce. No, Littlefinger's bigger threat is the junior branch of House Royce. Littlefinger needs to fear Nestor Royce and his daughter Miranda. You see, Miranda and Nestor know more than they let on. Specifically, they know that Lysa wasn't murdered by Marillion. What do I mean? Well, let's go back to Lysa's death. Lysa Tully fell from the moon door. This means that she fell and fell and fell and went splat on the mountain. Nestor Royce is in charge of the bottom of the mountain, and so Lord Nestor would be in charge of cleaning up the body. Lysa Tully is highborn and would certainly require a proper burial. After all, she is the mother of the Lord of the Vale, and so Lord Nestor's men would most certainly have to go out, comb the mountain, and find her body. And when they found Lady Lysa, they would find 2 eyes, and 2 hands, and 2 feet, and 2 ears, and 2 kidneys, and 3 shoes. That's right. 3 shoes. Lysa threw herself into Littlefinger's arms, sobbing. As they hugged, Sansa crawled from the moon door, on hands and knees, and wrapped her arms around the nearest pillar. She could feel her heart pounding. There was snow in her hair, and her right shoe was missing. It must have fallen. 3 shoes. So now Nestor Royce has this mysterious extra shoe. Who does it belong to? It's certainly a twist on the Cinderella tale. Now let's keep in mind that Nestor Royce was trying to Littlefinger the Vale out from Lady Lysa before Littlefinger was. He wanted to marry Lysa to become Lord Protector, and he wanted to have his daughter marry Harry the Heir, before it was totally the hip thing to do. He cannot be very happy that the Vale has been stolen from him using the exact same plan. Yes, Littlefinger has given him a consolation prize of the Gates of the Moon, but is that really enough? Especially after finding this shoe? You see, Littlefinger's story is that Marillion killed Lysa. Marillion is many things, but a man who wears women's shoes he is not. So who could the shoe belong to? One of Lysa's servants? And so the fact-finding mission begins. Lord Nestor comes up to the Eyrie to ask everyone questions. His first question is to Sweet Robin. Did your lordship see this happen? Elaine saw it, and my lord's stepfather. So now Nestor knows exactly who the shoe belongs to. Marillion, Littlefinger, Lysa, and Elaine were all in the room. He has Lysa's 2 shoes, and the remaining people are men. So the shoe belongs to Elaine. She was near the moon door for some reason. But why? The story gets stranger as Sweet Robin says that Littlefinger was in the room, but later Littlefinger claims he wasn't there. Of course, if anyone asked the guards, they would testify that Littlefinger was in fact in the room when they ran in. Now yes, one could clarify and say that Littlefinger was not in the room but entered at the very moment Lysa was pushed, but we don't see this clarification made. Additionally, Littlefinger's given reason for the meeting between Lysa and Marillion was that Lysa was going to send Marillion away, so Lysa called the meeting to see Marillion. Yet Marillion claims that he called the meeting in order to declare his love for Lysa, so we have a contradiction on who called the meeting. And Marillion claims that he barred the door so no one would disturb them, yet Elaine was clearly in the room, and if anyone asked the guards, they would testify that the meeting was between Lysa and Elaine. That's what Marillion told the guards right before he barred the door. So a close examination of the stories finds lies in them. Additionally, Nestor Royce clearly thinks Marillion was craven, yet somehow he was bold enough to push Lysa from the moon door. Perhaps the other lords might miss these inconsistencies, but it's unlikely Nestor Royce would. Not with that shoe in hand. Now, right after Lord Nestor's inquisition about the murder, Littlefinger bribes Nestor Royce with the lordship of the Gates of the Moon. So perhaps Nestor knows everything but just doesn't care. However, Nestor's words are filled with lies as well. I will not say I had not hoped for this. Whilst Lord John ruled the realm as hand, it fell to me to rule the Vale for him. I did all that he required of me, and asked for nothing for myself. But by the gods, I earned this. Of course, Lord Nestor didn't hope for the Gates of the Moon. He hoped for the Eyrie. He did want something for himself. He wanted to marry Lysa and marry Miranda to Harry the Heir. Littlefinger's gift is generous, but Lord Nestor's aspirations were much higher. He claims himself dutiful, but we know that he's a schemer. Nestor also seems to be feigning feelings for Lysa. Keep in mind, Lysa specifically said that Lord Nestor didn't love her and just wanted her castle. His greedy antics were so obvious that Marillion wrote a song about it. It seems very unlikely that Nestor had genuine feelings for Lysa, a woman who showed him nothing but disdain. Yet he pretends to be touched by Littlefinger's gift of the Gates of the Moon, a gift that Littlefinger claims Lysa wanted to give. A gift which is likely insufficient. Still, after these events, Nestor becomes Littlefinger's best friend. When the Knights Declarant arrive, Bronze Jan seems to recognize Sansa, but it's Nestor Royce that tells him that Sansa is Elaine. And Nestor sits next to Littlefinger and supports Littlefinger's claim as Lord Protector of the Vale. So perhaps Nestor knows something is up, but is looking the other way. Or perhaps he simply cannot prove his doubt. Well, both of these are unlikely. You see, next up the mountain comes Lord Nestor's daughter, Miranda, who is very, very interested in Elaine. Now keep in mind, Miranda rode all the way up the mountain just to see Elaine. This is a dangerous trip, a death-defying trip in fact, that causes people to wet their pants. And yet, to Sansa's surprise, Miranda is there. Miranda's goal, according to Miranda herself, is to learn Elaine's secrets. So what does Miranda learn? "May I call you Elaine? If you wish, my lady. I am my lady at the gates, but up here on the mountain you may call me Randa." So right off the bat, Miranda notices the way Sansa speaks. She's likely highborn. "How many years have you, Elaine?" 4 and 10, my lady." This seems to be a callback to Arya playing the game of lies with the waif. The first question they ask each other is, "How many years have you?" Sansa's lie, though, is not a great one. Littlefinger's story is that Elaine was raised by the Faith and left when she first flowered. Elaine's first menstruation would be a little late. It would be a year and a half after Sansa's. Not impossible, but strange, especially when one considers Sansa's breast development, which is highly correlated to a girl's first menstruation. Miranda seems very interested in Sansa's boobs, and remarks that they're very ample for a girl her age. So ample breasts, yet only recently flowered? I also wonder if Sansa's timeline melds with Littlefinger's. Sansa decided Elaine was a year older than Sansa, but that would mean that Littlefinger would need to be in charge of the Gulltown port a year earlier as well. We aren't sure if he was, and I doubt Sansa is sure either. "Are you still innocent, Elaine?" She blushed. "You should not—" "Yes, of course." Sansa forgets her place for a moment, again revealing that she's highborn, but her blush and innocence seems genuine. This would go against her being in a relationship with, say, Marillion or Littlefinger. "Saving yourself for Lord Robert? Or is there some ardent squire dreaming of your favors?" "No, she's my friend. Terence and Giles can't have her." So Sweet Robin fancies Elaine. Is Miranda wondering if Elaine wants to marry Sweet Robin? "We have had a letter from your father. He is on his way home," he says, "and hopes to see his darling daughter soon. He writes that Lionel Corbray seems well pleased with his bride, and even more so with her dowry. I do hope Lord Lionel remembers which one he needs to bed." Lady Waynwood turned up with the Knight of 9 Stars for the wedding feast, Lord Peter says, to everyone's astonishment. Anya Waynwood? Truly? Now Miranda mentions both Templetons and Waynwoods showing up to the wedding, but Sansa only shows interest in the Waynwoods. This is because Littlefinger told Sansa that achieving Waynwood's support would be difficult, but not Templeton's support. Keep in mind, the letter said that both Waynwood and Templeton's support were a surprise, so clearly Littlefinger is sharing different information with Nestor than he is with Elaine, and now Miranda knows this. Of course, perhaps Elaine is interested in Lady Waynwood because of her ward, Harry. The war goes on, everywhere but here. Riverrun has yielded, but Dragonstone and Storm's End still hold for Lord Stannis. Lady Lysa was so wise to keep us out of it. Yes, she was the very soul of wisdom, that good lady. Sansa seems to be honest here, but it's pretty clear that Miranda doesn't believe Elaine. There's a new High Septon, did you know? Oh, and the Night's Watch has a boy commander, some bastard son of Eddard Stark's. Jon Snow? Snow, yes. It would be Snow, I suppose. Oof, this one gives away almost everything. Elaine is supposed to be raised by the Faith. She should be very, very interested in who the new High Septon is. And Jon Snow? Why should Elaine know who Jon Snow is? Sansa Stark would, of course. Our cousin Bronze Jan had a melee at Runestone. A small one, just for squires. It was meant for Harry the Heir to win the honors, and so he did. Harry the Heir? Lady Waynwood's ward, Harold Harding. I suppose we must call him Sir Harry now. Bronze Jan knighted him. Oh, I pray he proves a worthy knight. So here Sansa reveals she doesn't know very much about Harry the Heir. So Littlefinger does keep some things from Elaine. She's not his partner, she's a pawn. It's interesting that Miranda calls Harry Harry the Heir. Only Miranda, Littlefinger, Sansa, and Lothar Brune have called him this. I wonder if everyone calls Harry Harry the Heir, or just schemers who are waiting for Sweet Robin to die. I pray he gets the pox. He has a bastard daughter by some common girl, you know. Here Miranda straight up insults bastards and common girls to Elaine's face, and she has no reaction. My Lord Father had hoped to marry me to Harry, but Lady Waynwood would not hear of it. I do not know whether it was me she found unsuitable, or just my dowry. I do need another husband. I had one once, but I killed him. You did? Elaine is shocked by the topic of murder, probably because Sansa has never killed anyone. Of course, Miranda suspects that Elaine killed Lysa, and if she knows Elaine is Sansa, she also suspects that she killed Joffrey. Oh yes, he died on top of me. In me, if truth be told. You do know what goes on in a marriage bed, I hope. Elaine nods to this, but of course Elaine was raised by the faith, and I doubt they would have taught her about the birds and the bees. So here I am a widow, but scarce used. Harry could have done much worse. I dare say that he will. Lady Waynwood will most likely marry him to one of her granddaughters, or one of Bronze Jan's. As you say, my lady. So here again Elaine shows ignorance about Harry the Heir, and doesn't seem to show any jealousy either. You will think me a dreadful slut, I know, but I bedded that pretty boy Marillion. He sang beautifully and could do the sweetest things with his fingers. I would have never taken him to bed if I had known he was going to push Lady Lysa through the moon door. I do not bed monsters as a rule. Now it seems likely that Miranda's story about Marillion is a lie. Tyrion broke Marillion's fingers. It doesn't seem like Marillion would be very good at pleasing Miranda with them. Sure, Marillion can still play a harp, but these are two very different activities. But regardless, the story seems to be to check if Elaine shows jealousy, and she does not. You are prettier than me, but my breasts are larger. Yours are ample for a girl your age, but as they are bastard breasts, I shan't concern myself with them. Miranda once again straight up insults Elaine for being a bastard, and Elaine has no reaction. One would think an actual bastard would show disapproval. You know our Maya's not a maid, I trust. Maddie told me. Of course she did. She has a mouth as big as her thighs. And now Miranda starts to find weaknesses in Littlefinger's crew. Maddie is a gossip. Michael was the best young swordsman in the Vale, and gallant, or so poor Maya thought, till he wed one of Bronze Jan's daughters. Lord Horton gave him no choice in the matter, I'm sure, but it was still a cruel thing to do to Maya. Sir Lothar is fond of her, more than fond. And now the Royces know how to control Lothar Brune. Maya works for House Royce, and is like a sister to Miranda. Does your father plan to wed again? We all know how devoted he was to Lady Lysa, but he cannot mourn forever. He needs a pretty young wife to wash away his grief. I imagine he could have his pick of half the noble maidens in the Vale. Who could be a better husband than our own bold Lord Protector? Though I do wish he had a better name than Littlefinger. How little is it? Do you know? His finger? I never... So once again, Miranda seems to be checking to see if Elaine is jealous. But Sansa's blush seems genuine. Once again, she seems like she's not in a relationship with Littlefinger. So based on the conversation coming down the mountain, it seems pretty clear that Miranda knows Elaine is a liar. Elaine is supposedly 14, a bastard, and raised by the faith. This girl is a bit younger, highborn, and didn't even care who the new High Septon was. And this girl knew who Jon Snow was, which means she would be from Winterfell. Highborn and from Winterfell? All of the information is there to figure out that it's Sansa. But what Sansa's game is still in question. Miranda should still believe that Sansa pushed Lysa. But why? She doesn't seem romantically involved with Littlefinger or Marillion. In fact, she seems like she's still a maiden. Sansa's motive must be perplexing for Nestor and Miranda. Now you may be asking, if Nestor knows something is up, why hasn't he arrested Littlefinger and Sansa? Well, it seems Nestor wants to have a 100% rock-solid argument. It also seems that he's still looking for weaknesses among Littlefinger's cronies. The Elaine sample chapter finds Miranda doing the same sorts of things that she was doing when she was coming down the mountain. She has Elaine meet some knights from Gulltown, and Elaine isn't able to say anything about the city, even though she's supposedly from there. Sansa also spills that Lyn Corbray's weakness is money, and Sir Shadrack mentions that he's only interested in gold as well. Of course, the Mad Mouse also works for Varys, so we're not sure what his game is. Now one may ask, if Nestor and Miranda suspect Littlefinger and Sansa killed Lysa, how can they prove it? Marillion confessed, and the shoe that they have could be anyone's. After all, its mate is up in the Eyrie, shut for the winter. Shut for years. Well, as it happens, we are actually told who the last person to leave the Eyrie was. We don't want to get bunched up on the mountain. I'll take Lord Robert and his companions. Ozzy, you bring down Sir Lothar and the rest, but give me an hour's lead. Carrot, you'll have charge of their chests and boxes. So Maya wants everyone spread out. She goes first, Ozzy second, Carrot third. So Carrot is the last person to leave the Eyrie. And who does Carrot work for? Why, Nestor Royce. Carrot certainly had the opportunity to go back into the Eyrie and grab Sansa's other shoe. We'll have to wait until the Winds of Winter to find out what happens next. As always, I'm probably wrong about half of this. And if you like this video, you should probably check out the Littlefinger debt scheme.